Okay, let's get the obvious out of the way. This is not better than How to Train Your Dragon 2. It's just not. Like, they try. They really definitely try. But, it's just not quite there. Now, it's not the weakest of the franchise, at least not to me. Some people think it is, and I can understand why most people do think that. But, in my personal opinion, it's still a great film. It's just not the franchise's peak. There's a lot to talk about, needless to say, so let's not waste any more time and dive right in. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your monsters are for anything and everything animation, including a boy and his dragon, as well as TV and movies. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome back to Dragon-Thon. Welcome to the penultimate installment in the original animated review series of this trilogy. That being How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World. Which was from 2019, I believe, right? Yeah, 2019 is when this franchise ended. So here's the thing with this one. It is really hard to give a satisfactory conclusion to a franchise. And this goes for live action too. Both have the same problems of trying to do either too much at once or being so focused on trying to be conclusive that they forget to, well, write something decent. But that being said, that doesn't mean there aren't like any good final installments in the franchise. Like, there are some really good ones out there, and I do think that this is one of those that is a good final installment. However, that being said, it's still got some problems, and I can completely understand why some call it the weakest. Like, I'm not going to call it the weakest, personally, but I can understand those that do. So, without further ado, let's finish off this animated trilogy with my written review for Hidden World. I hope you enjoy. As great as franchises can be, it can always get tricky when the time comes to end. Both live action and animation have issues with delivering a final installment that's both conclusive story-wise, as well as being satisfactory for the fan base. Like, most of the worst installments in a franchise are when they try to end it. In live action, you can get brilliant send-offs like Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Middling finales like Spider-Man 3, Pirates of the Caribbean: At World's End, that, while flawed, are still enjoyable. Or you can get outright garbage that defiles the brand, like Rise of Skywalker and Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. In animation, you can have trash fires like Shrek Forever After and Hotel Transylvania 4 Transformania, solid endings like Lion King 2 Simba's Pride and Cars 3, and truly incredible finales like Toy Story 3 and Justice League Dark 2 Apocalypse War. So, where does How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World fall in this pantheon of animated franchise finales? It's kinda in between incredible and solid. The storytelling is still great, the voice acting is still top-notch, especially Jay Baruchel and his very touching final performance as Hiccup. Like, seriously, this dude made me cry on more than one occasion watching this movie. The world building is still amazing, the characters are still fantastic, especially now that the mom from the second one gets to carry into the third one. The animation is the best of the franchise, that's not even a debate. The runtime is excellent, it's still, like, 2 hours or less, I think. It's still pretty brief. The pacing is pretty much perfect. It's a slow burn, but it's one of those slow burns that's not boring. The new Light Fury is an awesome new addition. Legit loved this new dragon. Legit loved her. The romance between Hiccup and Astrid is as great as it's always been, especially in this final installment. Like, their romance and how it all ultimately ends for these two, genuinely great stuff. The humor is still really funny, especially with Toothless trying to win over the Light Fury. It's in the trailers, it's Toothless doing the mating dance. I mean, it's become a meme at this point. The rewatchability is still very high. I mean, it's How to Train Your Dragon. Of course it's still going to be high on my rewatchability scale. And its final send-off to the characters and the world is truly phenomenal work by the cast and crew, as it delivers an ending that not only brings everything full circle, but is also poignantly conclusive. Like, I legit love the way this movie ends and how it ends off the entire franchise. Like, this finale is the best finale that DreamWorks has ever done, and at this rate are ever going to do. However, there's a few chinks in the armor that keep this below the second installment. The hidden world itself is a wonderful new setting with incredible design that sadly just isn't fully explored. Because this is a final installment in a franchise, they're not able to completely elaborate on all the new stuff that they add here, which, yeah, that's a huge flaw. Especially after how well they did completely creating this new hidden world. The main antagonist is by far the worst of the franchise. I legit hate this villain. He's so boring, he's so by the numbers, and he's so just generic. The writing is very hit or miss. Sometimes, again, like the ending, it can be amazing. And then other times, it can feel like it's doing too much. The Dragon Riders are still sidelined and barely do anything. Like, if you're a fan of those characters and you want to see them do more in the movies, well, sorry, after that first one, they pretty much do nothing. So, why they're still there at all, I don't know. I guess obligation for the voice actors? I don't know. And while I absolutely love the ending, the third act itself is rushed as hell, and felt like they ran out of time to fully deliver on the battle the other two acts set up so well. Like, this final battle, it was so well set up. But I don't know, they ran out of time or something, because the third act itself and that final battle itself is all kinds of rushed. Overall, though, despite the battle damage and very obvious flaws, this is still a truly spectacular send-off to DreamWorks' greatest and most consistent franchise. Sure, 2 is still the best film of the trilogy, that's not even a debate. But the final installment is still a great movie that ended the series on a high note. I get those who find it the weakest of the 3 because of all the flaws I mentioned earlier, but I still personally loved it, and will always be grateful that it gave one of the best human-pet relationships in animation such an emotionally powerful goodbye. Like, the send-off with Hiccup and Toothless, it brings everything full circle in a beautiful way. Put simply, it's one of the best final installments of any franchise in film history. Yeah, it goes right up there with the best of them, because this one is just, it's great. Like, yes, it obviously has a lot of problems, but I still really love this movie, and that ending, it is as perfect of an ending as you could possibly get with a franchise like this. And because of that, my final verdict for it is going to be a probably controversial, but still high and well-deserved 9 out of 10. This movie's great, all 3 of the movies are great, this trilogy is great, it is a pure, perfect example of what you can get from DreamWorks when they decide to try and not just put their heads up their greedy asses. It's a pretty great movie, it's a pretty great trilogy, and it still, to this day, stands the test of time quite well. So, yep, that's it. That is the ending of the animated portion of these Dragon-Thon reviews, and that is the final review of the original animated trilogy. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I've wanted to review these movies for a while now, and I'm glad that I finally was able to do so. However, next time is the live-action remake. Crap. Now, I've been hearing positive feedback from most people on this remake, even Angry Joe Show, and he's usually harder on these remakes than anybody I know. So, I don't know, maybe it will be good, or maybe I'll just be one of those people that's like, everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid, this is a piece of shit. Like, I don't know, we'll see. But it is going to have to wait a little while, because I do have Sci-Fi ValleyCon tomorrow, so, you know, I gotta be ready to do that vlog all day. But that's going to do it for this particular video, and that's it for Dragon-Thon for now. And I promise you, once I can actually see the remake, I will review it for you. And we will see if the praise is warranted, or if everyone's just drinking the Kool-Aid. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching all of these reviews. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions on this trilogy and on this particular installment in the comments down below if you so desire. As well as feedback, I'm all ears to help me improve my whole setup. And I'll see you guys next time when we talk about the How to Train Your Dragon 2025 live-action remake, and I tell you whether or not it's worth your time, or a steaming pile of shit that's just as bad as Disney's. I don't know. We'll see. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.
Deciding for what comes up ahead.